Well, all I can tell you is that ahead of the cabinet meeting yesterday, very few of the ministers going into number 10 Downing Street had any public comments. A couple of them said that Theresa May's Chequers proposal was essentially still on track. After that meeting, Dominic Raab, the Brexit Secretary, came out and spoke to the media, and he essentially reiterated Theresa May's message not only to the cabinet, not only to the government, but also to the country. Take a listen.
We had a good, healthy discussion. The Prime Minister made clear we're going to keep our calm, hold our nerve, and press the EU on some of the criticisms that they've made, but also to be clear that there are no credible alternatives that the EU has come up with. So we're going to hold our nerve, but continue to negotiate in good faith.
Now, today we'll be hearing from his opposite number inside the opposition party. That's Labour, and that's Sir Keir Starmer. He's essentially Labour's spokesperson when it comes to Brexit. He'll be giving his keynote speech at the Labour Party conference up in Liverpool. He, along with quite a few others inside Labour leadership, have been having to address this issue about a motion that we voted on today. That's allowing potentially the possibility of a second Brexit referendum. What the leadership of that party, in particular Jeremy Corbyn and his shadow chancellor John McDonnell, would like to see is a general election. They've said after that, if that's not possible, then what they'd like to try and do is have an up or down vote, essentially, on whatever deal it is that Theresa May and her government, the Conservatives, bring back from Brussels. John McDonnell spoke to the BBC yesterday. Take a listen to his views on that.
We respect that referendum. It was a democratic exercise. They took that decision and we respect it. Therefore, the issue now is what deal the government brings back. Is it acceptable or not? I don't think it will be. That's why I just want a general election. Let the people decide in the general election both the issue about the deal, but then also who will then do the negotiations after that. Because I don't think the government, this Conservative Party, is capable of doing negotiations. They've had 2 years. It looks as though they significantly failed.
So the Labour opposition party, ahead of all these negotiations, set out 6 key tests that any deal would have to meet in order for them to approve it. They were essentially impossible tests to be met based on what Theresa May had said from the outset about Britain's continued membership in the single market and the customs union. So it looks very likely, of course, that any deal brought back from Brussels, the Labour Party will vote against. So that's that. In terms of what the Brexit department here in the UK has been releasing overnight, is the final tranche of details of what a no-deal Brexit scenario could look like. This could be them trying to call the European bluff by saying we are going to be prepared for a no-deal scenario. But it's also really, really quite concerning for businesses and consumers when you look at some of the fine details. This involves things like aviation, all flights being grounded to European nations and other European nations. Huge impact on the trucking industry here in the UK and, of course, coming from the continent with goods. The knock-on effect that would have on consumer prices potentially. Even pets, Steve, your beloved dog, not able to travel to Europe quite so easily based on the fact that pet passports would no longer be valid. You'd have to plan months ahead when you make your next drive down to France.
Hey everybody, it's Hadley Gamble from our new CNBC Middle East Bureau in Abu Dhabi. Thanks for stopping by. Now, to watch more, you can try one of the videos that just popped up on your screen. And don't forget to subscribe.